All right, we got some people trickling in here. As we're waiting, if you wouldn't mind popping in the chat, where are you tuning in from? Always curious where in the world everyone is. What time is it there? And if you notice me looking down here, that's my backstage screen so I can see the chat and whatnot. I'm not ignoring you. Just looking for answers. Detroit, Michigan, cool. A little bit later there. We're on the West Coast, British Columbia. Halifax, Nova Scotia. Nice. I lived there for 10 years. Love it. I think the weather's a little nicer there today than it has been here. Guadalajara, Mexico. Awesome. New York, Newport Beach, California. Used to live there also. Ish. Santa Catarina, Brazil, Indiana. All over the world. I would like to point out, if it's really late where you are or super early and you're tuning in, we will be sending out the recording. So don't feel the need to stay up because you might miss something that you'll never see again. It'll be in the recording. India, probably fairly late there. Tunisia, Florida, Oregon. Nice. Give it a few more minutes for some more people to join, and then we'll kick it off. Okay, I think I'm just going to get started here. Anybody who tunes in a little bit late, they can catch up. So my name is Nick, as you can see on the screen here. I'm a user advocate at Browse AI. I live on the marketing team, but I work very closely with support and product and engineering to make sure our users get the very best experience possible. And also joining us, I'm going to pop him on stage here, Artie, the founder and CEO of Browse AI. Artie, you want to say hi real quick?
Hey everyone, I'm Artie, and I'm calling from Vancouver, Canada. And this is my daughter Raha, who wants to say hi every now and then when I work from home. Thanks, Nick.
All right, perfect. In this webinar, it's a brief overview. Overview of web scraping is what we're going to cover first here. Sorry, if I'm muting myself by accident, it's because on this screen, the spacebar is mute, but on this one, it does the slides. My apologies. All right, next, introduction to Browse AI for those of you who may not be familiar. A demo of web scraping, a fairly simple example. A demo with a bit more complexity, and then some use cases and examples, what can be done with Browse AI, and then some Q&A, and finally wrapping up. So about 15 or 20 minutes or so until we get to the Q&A. So what is web scraping? Essentially, web scraping is the extraction of data from a website. In case you're not aware, that's the gist of it, of what web scraping is, what Browse AI does, and what can you do with the data once you've scraped it. Once you've collected it, you could send it into something like a spreadsheet or a database or even an API. We have some people who power apps via the data they're scraping. And why it's important for businesses, if you can get the right data at the right time, it can be a huge competitive advantage. Historically, collection of that data has been expensive, time-consuming, and sometimes, honestly, impossible to scale. And that's where Browse AI came in. The mission of Browse AI is to democratize access to information on the internet. Simply put, we think everyone should be able to get access to it much more easily than it has been in the past. The origin is, back in 2020, Artie started building the first piece of that, which was an easy and affordable and reliable way to extract and monitor that data from the web as a whole. and it launched first publicly in 2021. So we're a few years in, and I think we're just really hitting our stride. So whatever you've seen so far, we're about to kick it up a notch. Browse AI in a nutshell, we're trying to allow anyone to train a robot by simply pointing, clicking, and naming the data you want to extract. It's all visual, and there's no code needed. That's the big one. There's no coding knowledge necessary whatsoever. It's trusted by teams at some of these companies. You may know people who work there. You may work there yourself. We have over 420,000 users. And just since January of 2023, 6.8 billion records have been extracted. That's a lot of data just in a span of a couple of years here. So here's what makes our software different. I'll let you review this for a minute while I take a sip. It's all kinds of features here. Some of the big ones are emulating human interactions, solve CAPTCHAs, extract data on a specific schedule, handle pagination, auto-adapt to site layout changes, integrating with 7,000 plus apps, scrape data with no code using AI. It really is quite remarkable what Browse AI can do compared to basic web scraping you might have seen someone do with Python or something like that. So the first example we're going to cover is LinkedIn and jobs. It's kind of a big use case with data scraping these days. So first, we're going to search for a specific role in an area. Next, we're going to train a robot to extract the data we want. And finally, we're going to create a monitor that runs on a schedule, so you don't have to keep going to do it yourself. So we'll go into this first demo. I'm going to take myself off the screen here, focus on what's being shown, and I'll join you again when I'm done with the demo here. Go to linkedin.com/jobs, you'll be asked to sign in. But if you go to linkedin.com and then click on jobs, you don't have to sign in. It's a cool little trick for you. All right, let's search for social media managers in the US. And this list down on the left, this is what we're going to try to extract. So I'm going to copy this URL and then go over to Browse AI, paste it in a new robot. And you'll notice down below there's a couple of pre-built robots that show up. You could use these if you wanted them as starting points, but I'm going to show you how to build one instead of using these. So this website does not require me to log in. I won't check this box, and I'll click Start Training Robot. Until recently, the Chrome extension was how one would use Browse AI, but the Robot Studio is new and the future of Browse AI, so I'll show you how to use that instead. For anybody who's used the Chrome extension in the past, you'll no doubt notice some pretty big differences between Robot Studio and the extension. And here's something that is different. Watch what happens after I select my list. What used to happen is I select my list and then I have to go through and pick all my fields. But now we sprinkle in a little bit of AI magic. So first, let's go over here on the right and click on Capture Text. And then from a list. And then once I hover, you'll see different things being highlighted. When I get exactly what I want, I'm going to click, and the AI starts to detect my fields for me. Now, in a matter of moments here, I will have a list with a name, job listings, and a bunch of fields already selected for me. So I didn't have to pick any of those. And if I wasn't doing a demo, I would probably keep this. But instead, I'm going to scroll down here and click on Select Manually instead, and then cancel my edits so I can show you how to do it manually. Even doing it manually, we've made it pretty simple. You just have to hover and click and select all the different pieces of data that you like. I'll take visible text, and then I'll click again to get the link, and then I'll click to get the location here and the status. And when it was posted, let's get the logo, image URL, and the link for the job. Once I'm finished selecting my fields, I click on Confirm or press Enter, and then I go through and I name all of these. So job title, company, company link, location, status, posted, logo, and job link. No, job link. All right, press enter, and I'm ready to name my list here. Scroll over to the left, see all my fields, name my list, job listings. Again, job listings, just like the AI did. And let's take a look and see to choose the number of items I want to extract. So I happen to know that 60 is how many show up before I scroll down some more. And the pagination method is scrolling down. So I will pick that over here on the right. And I will save my, actually no, first I will show you that you can click in here and remove a column. So let's say I don't want company link, it's gone. And let's say I want to rename posted to date posted. Enter, and that's changed. So now let's save my captured list. And once I've saved it, I can go over on the right here, hover, and click on the trash can to remove something else. So the logo should be gone here. And let's take a quick look. Yep, logo is now gone. I'll click continue and then finish. And now it's time to give the robot a name. So I'll name it something like social media. No, let's capitalize that. Social media manager jobs in the US. And then I'll click save. And Browse AI is now going to spin up a new server on the cloud in order to emulate the actions that I just took. So here we go, simulating user actions. And you can see right here, there are 3 list items, now 33 list items. It gives you a bit of idea of how many have been scraped so far, and now 58, and just about done. And there we go, 60 list items. You can scroll down, you can see them all here. And that took about, what, 20 seconds? Now down at the bottom, you see a few options of what you can do next. In this case, I'm going to say, yes, this looks good, and approve it. Now that's cool and all, but what if we set up monitoring to do this automatically for us? So every day, except on weekends, at a specific time of noon in my time zone, I would like to go to this URL and get 60 job listings. I'll give my monitor a name, SMM, jobs, weekday, check, and I don't need emails sent to me, and I'll save it. Next, we can integrate with any number of tools here in the Integrate tab. We've got Google Sheets, Zapier, Airtable, Make.com, workflows, webhooks, all kinds of options. Or you can view it in the Tables tab here for your robots. Click on Tables and go to the job listings here, and you can see all of them right here without going to a separate tool. Or if you'd like to export to a CSV, for example, or to JSON, and you can choose whether to show data when the input parameters were exactly the same. And finally, up here at the very top, you can see how many credits are used in order to run the tasks and how many list items are included. Okay, next we'll get into Redfin. Let me take a quick sip here. All right, in this example, we're going to search for homes in a specific area with some criteria that I've entered. We're then going to extract the individual properties as well as the details of those properties. We'll create a workflow to connect 2 robots together and also integrate with Google Sheets. And finally, we will do a bulk run using tables. So we'll import a CSV and see how bulk run works. Okay, we're on redfin.com here, and I've done a search for Portland. And on the right here, I've set a couple parameters, up to 600,000 and 2-bedroom, 2-bath. So I'm first going to copy this URL up here and go to pre-built robots. You can get here by clicking on pre-built robots on the marketing site, and you can search for Redfin if you'd like to find those pre-built robots. Or you can go in the left-hand sidebar, scroll down, click on Redfin, and those same pre-built robots will show up. In this case, I'm going to go to the dashboard to do it. So we've got a new robot. I'll type in redfin.com, and I'll choose extract list of properties from Redfin. And I'll replace this URL here with the one I copied. There we go. 10 is fine for the limit of properties. And next step, we can review the configuration here. Looks good. And let's click Start Extracting. While this one's running, let's go to a single property, copy the URL for that, and go to the dashboard again. And we'll type in redfin.com and choose the Extract Property Details pre-built robot. Okay, just as before, we go here and get rid of this URL, put ours in, click Next Step. One thing to confirm, looks good, and start extracting. Okay, so now this one is running as well. And now it's time to make the workflow to connect these two robots. So I will call it something very creative like Redfin Deep Scraping Demo. So robot A is the one that will trigger the workflow to run. In this case, that is the one that gets all of the properties, the list of properties. And I have actually pre-created a robot to make this process smoother. And I have called it something very creative. It's called Redfin Robot A. Select that one and we'll click next. Now, robot B is the one that runs and then goes to scrape the details from each link that robot A provides. So we're going to click down here and select Redfin Robot B. And I have to pick the field that will correspond to the link I want to scrape. There's only one of those and it's called link. And then we'll click next step. Now I decide when I would like this to run. Always. Only if robot A finds changes. Only if robot A finds new items. Or if robot A finds new or changed items while monitoring. I'm going to leave it as always for now. And then we'll click next step. Now with the workflow, on robot B, you have to have an integration set up, a place to send the data. And we don't have one yet. So we'll click on this link here, open robot B integration page. And we'll choose Google Sheets. It's a very common one. It's easy to set up. I've got an account set up, but if you've ever logged in or created an account with Google, it'll look very similar to you. The modal pops up and you choose your account. So I will select my account here. And I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. I'll give it a name like Redfin Homes Demo. You can choose to only sync changes by checking that box if you'd like. And you can edit the data mapping. So I'm going to change this sheet name to Homes. Leave everything else the same. Looks good. You could rename things if you wanted to on the right here. And I'll create spreadsheet and activate integration. The creation will only take a moment here, and then we'll move on to the next step, which shows you the Google Sheet that was created with this handy link. Makes it very easy. Let's open that up. And there you go. It's empty currently, but this is the sheet it will integrate with. Rather than make you sit through the triggering of a workflow, I've already done it and populated a different sheet up here. So I'll show you in this tab what it would look like if we could fast forward what I just built. It would end up like this in a Google Sheets. And if we check out the history of that robot, it will be shown as a bulk run because multiple URLs were run at the same time. That's what it's called. And speaking of bulk runs, there's another way to do it via tables. So if you go to the tables for a particular robot, you can click on Import CSV. And then on the right-hand side here, you can download a sample CSV with the column you'll need. And you can do this for up to 50,000 new rows at once. I'm going to upload a CSV. It doesn't have quite that many rows, but I'll upload this here so we can see what that looks like. And that URL is the correct one from the CSV. So I will click just to make sure. Yep, that's the one I want. And click confirm. When I click start extracting data, you'll notice that there's a button to remove duplicate rows. I'll do this and you'll see that we'll go from 4,900 or so and it comes down to 4,559. So you don't have to worry if you have duplicate rows. We'll recognize that and let you take care of it. I've got a bulk run in progress here. Let's go back to the dashboard and I will click on the bulk ran robot. Go check out the history and you'll see I've got one in progress here. Let's check the details. And you'll notice that there are a total down here of 4,558, 1,800 are finished, 0 failed. You can scroll down, see each individual one that has been run. Scroll back up, you can pause the bulk run, you can stop the bulk run, and you can also filter by successful, failed, or in progress, in addition to all. And my face is back. All right. So you saw a couple of examples there. How else are people using Browse AI? Nope, I removed myself from the stage. I swear I will get the hang of these keyboard shortcuts. All right. How else are people using Browse AI? To monitor products and pricing, that's a big one. Businesses can keep an eye on the products and prices of competitors, for example. Property listings, as I showed. House hunters can keep track, as well as realtors, to see what's out there. Job postings. LinkedIn is far from the only website that has jobs. You could scrape a bunch of them and put them all into one place if you wanted to. Government websites, things like construction permits or licenses. Oftentimes, if you're not there within an hour of it being posted, you might lose out entirely. So that's another big use case. And member directories, you could find networking, collaboration opportunities, on autopilot without having to keep checking all these places. And I'll let these ones run through as I take a sip here. And this is far from all the use cases. This is just some of the ways that people use Browse AI, aggregating reviews, financial news, aggregation, lead generation, market trends, customer reviews. I mean, if you're creative, there's lots of ways you can use a tool like Browse AI. So time for some Q&A. We've got one of our teammates, Masood, on the back end here, checking out the questions, and we've got some that are public, I believe, here. Yes, we'll be emailing the recording. That is probably one of the questions on your minds. Actually, I think it is one of the public questions. Yes, there will be a video of this after it's over. We'll email it out to everyone who registered. So even if you're not here, which you don't hear this right now because you're not here, but in the recording you'll hear it, we'll send that out. So Artie's on stage.
Yeah, there was a question that I wanted to answer by Kathy. They're asking, does the information you are wanting to scrape need to be in a specific format? So most information that people want to extract from websites is in a structured format that Browse AI can easily recognize and extract. The exceptions are when, for example, you want to extract data from a company's about page and then extract the year they were founded and stuff like that. So you're trying to pull some information out of a messy, unstructured text. Browse AI is not designed for that. So in those cases, we recommend using Browse AI to extract the entire content. We already have a pre-built robot for that gives you the entire HTML of that page if you just give it the URL. And then you can pass that through something like GPT. Like if you use Zapier, you can use Zapier to pass that through an LLM like GPT and then extract the information you want to extract from that blob of text. So that's the only exception where Browse AI alone wouldn't be able to give you the information you're looking for.
Awesome. Thanks, Artie. There is a longer question down here. When you create a workflow that is pulling data from two robots, how do you get them to pull the same product data? Robot A pulls product title and description and price. Robot B signs into the URL and pulls product title and product cost. If I'm understanding correctly, actually, Artie, do you understand what the question?
Yeah, I think maybe we should clarify how most people are using workflows. So most people are using workflows for this concept that's called deep scraping, which means you have multiple layers of data on the same website. And for example, you want to have one robot go and grab a list of links that's on certain pages. And then you want to have another robot that goes into each of those links and then extracts the details of those links. Or the details of those items that you have the links for. So in those cases, you create robot A and robot B. Robot A is extracting the list of links and then passing it along to robot B. Robot B is going through every one of those links and extracting all the details. This is the most common way people use it. There is a second way, much less popular way that people use this, which is you could have a robot A that is extracting, for example, a list of keywords. And then you can have a robot B that is searching those keywords on Google and extracting the search results, or searching those keywords on another site and extracting the results. That's also possible, but it's just less common.
Yeah, that's a good example.
I guess what I want to highlight is, like, with workflows, there's something that robot A is extracting and then passing along to the robot B, and then robot B is using that to navigate to the page that it needs to extract data from.
Yeah, I think in the Redfin example, I may not have been clear enough that the first one is getting all those property links, and then the second one is set up to scrape the data from each individual listing page, and then those two work together as a workflow. So that's something I could have highlighted a bit more clearly. And you can also set up monitors to do these things on schedule as well. All right, any other questions?
I see a couple of other questions. So can this product extract images from Instagram? So generally speaking, social media websites, they require you to log in to extract data. And by social media sites, I mean like Facebook, Instagram, typically, if you have a robot log in on your behalf, it's using a different IP address, so it could be flagged by their system. So we don't recommend it. If you look at our help center, we have an article that says we don't recommend using Browse AI for extracting logged in data from social media websites. There's another question that asks, so I'm having a hard time getting Browse AI to work on a specific website. Is there a way to talk with someone to see if the tool will work on this particular website? Yes, we have a customer success team in 3 different time zones that's happy to help. We do have we are signing up thousands of people every day, and there is a bit of a prioritization going on. So if you are on a paid plan, your support tickets would be prioritized because we have a small team and we wouldn't be able to answer every ticket in a very short amount of time. But we try to help everyone that reaches out to support via support@browse.ai or the support form on our website. Like if you're running into any particular challenge, we can usually guide you towards a help center article or a video demo that shows you how to get around that. Or sometimes we might even like tweak your robot for you, so to make it more work the way you want.
Awesome. Thanks, Artie. One question I touched upon it very briefly in the demo of the difference between the extension and Robot Studio. Do you want to maybe touch on that? When the extension started, what's happening at Robot Studio, what we're trying to improve on?
Yeah. So for the first couple of years that Browse AI was live, we only had we had a browser extension that people had to use. They had to install it on their machine, and then they would have to use it to train these robots. The robot would run on our cloud servers. It wouldn't run on your machine. But the extension was our way of teaching the robot how to perform certain actions on that site to grab the information for you. But later we found out that many users are not comfortable with that. For example, people that work at large enterprises, they aren't allowed to install browser extensions on their machines for security reasons. So we wanted to come up with a way that doesn't require installing anything. And that's why we built Robot Studio. And as a side benefit, with Robot Studio, we also get to have much faster release cycles and iterations because we don't have to go through Chrome Web Store's approval process. So there's an interface within Browse AI. There's a browser within Browse AI where you are opening the website that you want to extract data from through our servers, and then you're training a robot to extract that data for you. And there's a lot of intelligence baked in. It's much more intelligent than the Chrome extension that we used to have. But we're still you still have the option to create robots with the Chrome extension. It's just being deprecated.
And I did want to point out real quick, the AI feature you saw where when I selected the list and then it kind of built it automatically, selecting the fields and naming the list, that's being rolled out. So if you don't yet have access, it is coming. I clearly have access because I work at Browse AI, one of the perks. If you don't see it yet, it is coming and it'll look very much like what you saw in that demo. And I gotta say, it's pretty nice. Like the manual way, it's not difficult, but it's a lot easier to just have a robot literally do it for you. So, and we're just getting started. So we're going to take all the feedback as you're using it. So please do, if you see something that isn't quite working right, or you have questions or would like to have be different or better, then please let us know. Also, Q&A. If you have any questions right now, you can submit some questions here. We've got Artie ready to go to answer your hard-hitting questions. I shouldn't challenge people. Oh, Masu, do you want to add the link to the screen of where people can submit feedback? Like if they had product feedback or, yeah.
Yeah, and we really appreciate your feedback on how we can make this webinar more valuable and more informative.
Yeah, please, suggestions. What you would like to have seen, what could have been done different, better. This is only our second time really doing this recently, so we do want to hear from the people how to make these most valuable. Quiet bunch, no questions. Anything else top of mind, Artie, you wanted to put out there that you know are common questions?
Many people have questions about what is AI scraping. And they think it's just one thing. And if you Google it, there are many people talking about it. Our approach to scraping using AI might be a bit different from what most people imagine. So most people imagine that AI should automate the entire process from 0 to 100. So you just tell it, I want to extract data from this site, and then you have all the data in front of you. We think the industry will get there, but it's not there yet. And every solution that tries to provide that today, it has a very low success rate. And that's because people need different kinds of information. Even when you're trying to extract data from the same website that someone else does, you might want to extract a different type of data. So what we believe is the right approach to take right now is to automate every step of the process individually. And then over time, as we really perfect those like little automations here and there, we're going to merge them together. And through that, we're going to be able to automate the full process. That's the approach we're taking. So for like in every step from like selecting the data on the website that you want to extract to naming that robot to making sure that the robot is functioning properly over time, we're using AI. But it doesn't do all the work for you. It's more like an assistant that's with you and it saves you time. But its priority, its first priority is to get you exactly what you're looking for. And the second priority is to make it as easy as possible, not the other way around.
So I do see a question here that kind of ties into something we get asked that you could answer much more eloquently, Artie. Has there been much negative feedback from target websites? I guess it goes into the question of legality of web scraping and all that.
Yeah, so it is a controversial topic, but something we focused on from day one was we focused on public data. We do support extracting logged in data, but it's meant to be used on data that you own. So for example, if you want to extract data from one of the tools that you use that hosts your data, but it doesn't give you an easy way to export that data or integrate it, you're more than welcome to use Browse AI for that. But our primary focus is public data. And we also really limit access to extracting data that could be sensitive or in the gray area. For example, health data, personally identifiable data. That's the kind of information that we don't want to focus on extracting. And we have policies in place. If you look at our website, we have policies on what kind of data you should be extracting, what kind of data you shouldn't.
I don't see any other questions. I remember a question from the last webinar where someone asked if you could take a screenshot of a website. And yes, you can. That's one of the features I didn't demo, but screenshots are a part of typically the standard of most robots. I'm just taking a screenshot of the page. You can also select an area of a website that you'd like to have a screenshot of, either just screenshot or in addition to a list. Also just text. You can get text that's not part of a list, which is sometimes handy if there's some piece of information on that page outside of the list, like maybe what the title of the page is or the number of results you care about, or you want to know what was searched. You can copy text from the website outside of just list data as well.
Yeah. And I would also say, if you just want to open a website and grab a screenshot, we have a pre-built robot for that. You don't have to train a robot. And you just create that robot using if you visit the library of pre-built robots.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's much easier.
Yeah.
Also, pre-built robots, if you don't see one and you would like one, please let us know about that too. We do have quite a few, but we can't get them all. And user feedback is a big one in terms of what people would love to have pre-built and not have to build themselves. Give it another second here for some more questions to trickle in. And otherwise, well, I'll just put this up now. There is one more thing. Oh, Artie, you had something?
No, just one more thing.
One more thing. How about a promo code? Why not? So if you use the code webinar20, you can save 20% off an annual subscription for the first year. It'll be valid for the next 48 hours as a special thank you for sticking with us and tuning in and for your questions and attention. So please do take advantage of that. It's a real code. Get yourself a deal. Outside of that, thanks so much for attending the webinar. if you have any feedback, again, we'd love to hear it because we want to do more of these. We want to make sure they're valuable and we're not just putting stuff out there we think people care about. What else do you want to see? So thank you again for tuning in. The recording will be sent out probably today or tomorrow. And don't forget this promo code. And we'll see you next time.